you all are doing fantastic, and welcome to our presentation today on what is trending for 2018 with Amtrak Vacations. Very excited to be here with all of you this afternoon. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nick Bennell, and I have proudly been with Amtrak Vacations now for just over 5 years. A little bit about my background. I absolutely love rail travel. I'm a huge fan of it. I've done quite a bit extensively here in the US, in Canada, and quite a bit in Europe. So something I'm very excited to share with you all today. A lot of great information to go over. So let's hop right into it. But before we go over anything, don't forget to download the handout that you should see on the right-hand side on your GoToWebinar control panel. There'll be a lot of great and valuable information on there for all of you. So definitely feel free to download that handout. And as always, there should be a questions box. Please feel free to input any questions you may have for myself, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have towards the end of the presentation today. We'll do a giant question and answer session, so something to get excited. So the first question to be asked, though, is why Amtrak Vacations? Well, there's several reasons why for this. First off, traveling by rail is a bucket list experience. In fact, we surveyed all of our travelers last year as to why they chose traveling with Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations, and the number one consensus answer we kept seeing was that it was a bucket list trip. If you think about it, you all have done ocean cruises. You've gone to the Caribbean and done an all-inclusive, maybe in Mexico or Hawaii. You've gone to Disney World. You've now conquered river cruising. And you're looking for something next, that next adventure, the next fun time, that something different, something unique. The rail can satisfy each and every single one of those needs. Room to roam. Take what you know about being cooped up in an airplane for hours upon end, where you can't really get up and move around, or on a bus where you can't get up and move around at all. Well, with Amtrak, you're encouraged to freely move amongst the train. Go visit the cafe car. Visit the cafe car. Visit my personal favorite, the observation car. There's less hassle. There's none of this business about showing up 24 hours ahead of or checking in 24 hours before your journey, or paying for your checked luggage ahead of time, or showing up 2 to 3 hours before your departure time. No, there's no need for that with Amtrak. How does 45 minutes to an hour sound? That is the average time people will show up prior to their Amtrak vacation, really making it as hassle-free and as worry-free as possible for you. City-to-city service. Now, one thing I absolutely dislike about flying are those long airport transfers. Sometimes you go on these 6-hour-long flights, and then lo and behold, you have another hour-long drive to get you to where you need to be. Well, with Amtrak, you don't have to worry about that because mostly Amtrak's train stations are located in the downtown areas of the cities. Look at New York Penn Station, for example. It's right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. Los Angeles Union Station is right in the heart of downtown LA. Chicago Union Station, which is Amtrak's substation, is located right in the heart of the loop of downtown Chicago, getting you into the heart of where all the action is right off the bat. Satisfy your hunger. Now, this will go over just a little bit later. I just want you all know to if you ever do need upgrade to sleeping accommodations on board the train, meals are automatically included. You won't want to miss out on that unless the dining on the train is absolutely fantastic. And lastly, flexibility. One of the best parts about our vacation packages is they have the option to practically travel daily. With just the exception of a couple of our seasonal national parks, almost every single one of our packages operates on a daily basis. Unlike the cruises where they have select sail dates and the escorted tours where they have select start dates. And one of the best parts about our vacation packages is you can actually choose between any of the 500 Amtrak stations to start or end your trip at, or alternatively, you can fly to your start destination or fly home from your end destination. It's completely up to you. Now, I love showing this off this map because it really amazes me how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, Amtrak services 46 out of 48 continental states here in the U.S., with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming. And last year, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million riders, which, if Amtrak was an airline, they would be the 6th most flown airline in the world last year. How exciting is that? So rail travel is in demand. It's definitely popular, and now it's your time to experience it firsthand. And once again, one of the best parts about traveling by rail is there's no pesky middle seat on board the train. There's no reason for you to be sandwiched between two strangers for hours upon end like you would on an airplane. And you'll get to see views that most travelers never see. Think about the views you'll be able to get from a train rather than an airplane, or traveling by interstate. You get to see some pristine, untouched landscapes a lot of the times. You can skip the traffic and take the train. There's no need to sit in traffic like this. Come on, who likes sitting in traffic? It's not ideal. With it, we have a saying we like to use around here. Why not take the road less traveled? That road being Amtrak. All you have to do is kick back, relax, and let us do the driving for you. Also, do you not like to fly? Well, travel by rail. You can get to where you need to be domestically. I can tell you this speaks volumes to me as my sister, my own sister, does not fly. She only travels by train. This is how she takes vacations to get to her different destinations that she wants to visit. So definitely, if you don't fly, this is the way to go. And in fact, this is my favorite whole slide in the whole presentation. What do we see on the left-hand side? We see clouds, right? It's pretty boring if you ask me. If you think about it, clouds are going to look the same no matter where you go in the world. But if we look at the right-hand side, we see beaches and pristine coastlines. We see big cities. We see mountains. These are just some of the examples of the beautiful landscapes that can only be seen from the comfort of an Amtrak train. So we're really lucky here in the U.S. We have every type of landscape imaginable. We have those beaches and coastlines, those big cities, those mountains. But we also have prairies, we have plains, we have swamplands, we have deserts, we have rainforests, we have small town America, and all of it can be seen from the comfort of the Amtrak train. There's nothing like it, my friends. And one of the best parts about our packages is you can choose the hotels that work best for your needs. I mean, we work with hotels ranging from 3 to 5 stars. You're not getting any motels with us. You're getting some of the best hand-picked hotels in all of the destinations that we work with. And once again, where can we start our rail vacations? Well, you can start your rail vacations realistically wherever you want, as our trips can be picked up and started at anywhere in the United States or in Canada. You can start right from your hometown if you wanted. Now, we offer quite a few different types of travel styles that could really cater towards any type of traveler. First, we have our independent rail journeys, which are our multi-city, multi-state, week-long to even up to 16-day-long trips. They're incredibly comprehensive as they cover quite a bit of ground, so if you are looking for a bit of a longer trip, these are the perfect ones for you. We have our rail experiences, which put the focus on the journey rather than the destinations. We tend to keep the hotel and destination stays at a minimum, where the true focus is being on the train as much as possible. We have our family adventures, and I always recommend these if you're doing a large family trip or a multi-generational trip, as they're completely family-friendly. From grandparents to grandchildren, there's something for everyone on the family adventures. We have our rail getaways, which are our single city 2 to 3 night long trips. If you're looking to just try to get away for a couple of nights, these are the perfect trips for you, especially if you have a long weekend. I mean, we have Memorial Day just a week and a half away. If you're looking to get away, maybe definitely keep this in mind. We have these all throughout the United States and Canada. We have our rail and sail programs. Now, I love the rail and sails because they combine 2 completely different travel styles and roll it into one amazing package. Not only will you get the journey on board the Amtrak train, but you'll get an Alaskan cruise out of Seattle, which is really amazing. We work hand in hand with Norwegian Cruise Lines to bring these packages to life, so definitely keep this in mind. And lastly, custom rail journeys. Keep in mind, once again, everything we do is completely customizable. Maybe you see an itinerary today, or you've seen one on the website, but you might want to add nights, remove nights, add a destination, remove a destination. Maybe you want to do it in reverse. Maybe you want to have a dream trip in mind, but you want to build it from the ground up because we might not necessarily offer it. Let us know. We can make that dream trip become a reality, as everything we do is completely customizable. So with all of that said, everybody, let's hop right in to some of our most popular rail packages and what's trending for 2018. And of course, the first one we're going to go over is our most popular package for 2017. It is our Grand National Parks. Now, this trip is absolutely amazing. And there's a reason why it was one of our most popular trips for 2017 is because it covers some of the most scenic rail routes, as well as it visits some of the most iconic national parks here in the United States. So this trip, for example, we do the overnight train from Chicago to Salt Lake City on board the California Zephyr. We arrive in Salt Lake City the next evening, and then in Salt Lake City, we do one night in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel. The next day, we'll take the Salt Lake Express, which is the motor coach transfer that will take us from Salt Lake City up to West Yellowstone, where we'll do 2 nights in one of the lodges located in West Yellowstone. And while we're up there, we will get the full day guided tour of Yellowstone National Park's lower loop. Now, this tour is amazing as it highlights all of the key sites that Yellowstone National Park is famous for. In fact, you will, and it is guaranteed, you will see the Old Faithful guys erupt during this tour. It's really, really amazing. Once our fun in Yellowstone National Park is all said and done, we will then do the transfer, Salt Lake City express transfer back down to Salt Lake City, where we'll then do an overnight train and evening train to San Francisco, where we arrive the following afternoon. And in San Francisco, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown hotel, and while we're there, we will get a full day guided tour to Yosemite National Park. Now, you won't have to worry about getting yourselves to and from the park. The tour will pick you up at your hotel, drive you out to the park, and you will get a full day comprehensive tour of the Yosemite Valley. After our fun in San Francisco and Yosemite are all said and done, we will then hop aboard the Coast Starlight, which is Amtrak's most scenic train that they have. In fact, it's been voted the most scenic train in North America the past 3 years. And you're going to take that from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, and it's just day travel to get from point A to point B. You arrive in San Francisco that evening, or to Los Angeles that evening, and you do 1 night in a downtown Los Angeles hotel. The next morning and afternoon, you're going to have a guided sightseeing city tour of Los Angeles, which will highlight a lot of the key sites that Los Angeles is known for, such as the Grauman's Chinese Theater, Hollywood Walk of Fame. You'll get to see Beverly Hills, the Hollywood Hills. You'll be able to see downtown Los Angeles. It's a really fantastic tour. After the tour that evening, we're going to hop aboard an evening train, an overnight train on the Southwest Chief, where we arrive into Williams, Arizona the following morning. In Williams, we're going to switch right over to the famous Grand Canyon Railway, which we will take from Williams up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Now, this is truly amazing. In fact, the Grand Canyon Railway, I love it because for those that aren't familiar, it's the antique steam train that takes you from Williams, Arizona up to the south rim. And I love it because it adds another train experience to a train vacation. So not only are you getting the Amtrak experience, but you're getting that classic antique steam train experience as well, which is really fantastic. And the trains, by the way, has been operational for over 110 years, so definitely keep that in mind. So we take that up to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Once we get up to the south rim, we are met by a motor coach for a guided south rim tour of the Grand Canyon, which will highlight a lot of the key sites that the Grand Canyon South Rim is known for. After that, we will spend 1 night in a centrally located lodge right in the Grand Canyon Village, right where we want to be. The next day, we're going to catch the Grand Canyon Railway, take it back down to Williams, when we'll do another night in Williams at the Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. And then the next morning, we're going to take this Amtrak Southwest Chief from Williams and do the overnight train back to Chicago. So just overall, everybody, 13 days, 12 nights. We get sightseeing tour of Yellowstone National Park's lower loop. We get a sightseeing tour of Yosemite National Park. We get sightseeing city tour of LA. We get the round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway, the motor coach Freedom Rim tour. All in all, 8 nights hotel, 4 nights on board the train. And yes, those 4 nights on the train are in coach accommodations. We can absolutely upgrade that to the sleeping accommodations, where we'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train will be included. Fantastic package. Was one of our top trips for 2017. It's already one of our top trips for 2018. So don't miss your chance on this magnificent package. Now, as we continue, let's visit our most popular rail experience, and that being our Northern Rail experience. And this trip is amazing because it utilizes the 3 most scenic routes that Amtrak has. So this trip, we start off doing the Empire Builder train from Chicago to Seattle. 2 nights on board the train, and during those 2 days on the train, what will we see? Well, the train goes up through Wisconsin. It goes up through the Lakes region of Minnesota, across through the plains of North Dakota, cuts across through Big Sky country of Montana and up through where Glacier National Park is. From there, we cut across through a little bit of Idaho, crossing the Columbia River and leading us into Seattle, Washington, where we arrive in Seattle, and we do 1 night in a downtown Seattle hotel. And while we're in Seattle, we will have a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour. Now, this tour will take us around the city on a big loop, and we can get off and on as we please at all the different sites and attractions that Seattle has to offer. Once our fun in Seattle is all said and done, we are then going to hop aboard Amtrak's most scenic route. That's right, the Coast Starlight once again. And we're going to do the overnight train from Seattle down to San Francisco, where we arrive the following morning. And in San Francisco, we are going to do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. And while we are there, we are going to have a couple different things included. First and foremost, we get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour in San Francisco included, which will take us around the city of San Francisco on a big loop, and we can get off and on as we please to all the different sites and attractions. We also get the tour of Muir Woods and Sausalito, which is a really fantastic full-day tour that highlights the Muir Woods and Sausalito, and the tour ends with a bay cruise of San Francisco Bay. Once our fun in San Francisco is all said and done, we're going to then hop aboard the Amtrak California Zephyr and do the 2-night train from San Francisco back to Chicago. Now, that train ride's amazing in itself. It goes through eastern California, passing through the Sierra Nevada mountains, through the Donner Pass in Nevada, through the Rocky Mountains of Utah and Colorado, leading us through the farmland of Nebraska and Iowa, back into Chicago. Overall, it's a 9-day, 8-night package where we get hop-on, hop-off tours in both San Francisco and Seattle. In San Francisco, we get the sightseeing tour of Muir Woods and Sausalito, and we also get a sightseeing cruise of San Francisco Bay. All in all, it's 3 nights hotel, 5 nights on board the train, and those 5 nights on the train are once again in coach accommodations, which we can absolutely upgrade to the sleeping accommodations. We get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train will be included. Now let's pay a visit for a really great package to our most popular year-round national park. That's right, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. In fact, it's the most visited national park here in the United States. I'm only talking about the Grand Canyon, everybody. Now, if I feel as though if you have never been to the Grand Canyon, now is your chance. I feel as though truly it's one of those places that if you haven't been to and you're from the United States, you have to visit at least once because it is truly amazing. And this package doesn't fail to impress. It's our rails to the Grand Canyon, where we do the overnight train from Los Angeles to Williams on board the Southwest Chief. We arrive into Williams, and when we get into Williams, we will switch right over to the Grand Canyon Railway, which will take from Williams and bring up to the South Rim. When we get up to the South Rim, we'll have a guided motor coach tour of the Grand Canyon South Rim, and then we will spend 2 nights up in one of the lodges in the Grand Canyon Village. Once our 2 nights are done up there, we will then hop aboard the Grand Canyon Railway, which will take back down to Williams, and then we'll catch an evening train, an overnight train from Williams back to Los Angeles on the Southwest Chief. Overall, 5 days, 4 nights. We get the round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway. We get the South Rim tour, the Grand Canyon Freedom Tour. We also get 2 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train, and yes, those 2 nights on the train are in coach accommodations, which, once again, we can absolutely upgrade to the sleepers. We'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train will be included once again. Now, as we continue, let's pay a visit to an amazing trip. Brand new, actually, for 2018, and with a brand new destination for 2018. That's right, we are looking at our Grand Tetons and Yellowstone rail journey. Now, this trip is huge for us, as you can imagine, because it's a brand new package, and it's a brand new destination that a lot of other companies don't offer. So keep this in mind. If you're looking for Grand Tetons, keep it in mind. This trip is amazing. And this trip is awesome too because you get to see the Colorado Rockies while on board the train. Then you get off to explore 2 of the most iconic national parks of the West with Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons. So this is a 7-day, 6-night. We do 5 nights hotel with 1 night on board the train from Chicago to Salt Lake City. We get sightseeing tours of Grand Teton National Park as well as a sightseeing tour of Yellowstone National Park. It includes a 5-day rental car because this is a self-driving trip from Salt Lake City up to Grand Teton in Jackson Hole as well as up to Yellowstone. And I will say the 2 nights while you're in Yellowstone are in the Canyon Lodge, which is inside of Yellowstone National Park. It's one of the most sought-after hotels in any of the national parks. Now let's pay a visit to another one of our most popular packages. In fact, this package has been one of our top trips for the past 10 years. This is our jazz, blues, and rock and roll. And I love this trip because it visits 3 of the most musical cities here in the United States. And there's a reason why it's been one of our top packages for more than 10 years. It has so much to offer. So this trip, we start off in Chicago, where we get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, which will take us around the city on a big loop. And we can get off and on as we please at all the different sites and attractions. Once our fun in Chicago is all said and done, we will then hop aboard the City of New Orleans train, which we will do the overnight train from Chicago down to Memphis, where we arrive in Memphis the following morning. And in Memphis, we're going to do 2 nights in a downtown Memphis hotel. And while we're there, we get a full day tour. Now, the first half of this tour is a guided city tour of Memphis, which highlights a lot of the key sites that Memphis is known for. So you'll see the Memphis Pyramid. You'll see the statues of Elvis and B.B. King. You'll see the Mississippi River. You'll actually also see the Lorraine Motel, as well as the National Civil Rights Museum. The second half of the tour is a guided tour of Graceland, where truly a trip to Memphis wouldn't be complete without going to visit Elvis's house. That is truly amazing. Once our stay in Memphis is all said and done, we'll then do a couple-hour-long train from Memphis down to New Orleans, where we arrive the following afternoon. And in New Orleans, we are going to do 3 nights in a downtown New Orleans hotel. And while we're in New Orleans, we have a couple different things included. So first and foremost, we'll get the Battlefield Cruise on board the paddle wheel boat, which is a boat ride that'll take you on board one of those big old-fashioned paddle wheel boats. And you'll actually be able to do some sightseeing from the port of New Orleans, where you'll see a lot of the famous sights, but you will also see the site from the Battle of New Orleans. You'll also get a guided city tour of the city of New Orleans. And along with all of this as well, we get the jazz brunch at the Court of Two Sisters, which you're going to have some really amazing Cajun cuisine while you're on that, but you'll also hear some live jazz music as you eat. It's really fantastic. So this package, everybody, is a 9-day, 8-night. We get the multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Chicago. We get the sightseeing tour of Memphis. That does include the day tour of Graceland. We get the Battlefield Cruise while we're in New Orleans, along with the city tour of New Orleans. And to top it off, we get the jazz brunch at the Court of Two Sisters. All in all, 7 nights hotel, 1 night on board the train. And yes, that 1 night on the train, you already know the deal. It's in coach accommodations, which we can absolutely upgrade to the sleeping accommodations, where you'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and you'll get your meals included. So keep all of that in mind. Now let's pay another visit to another one of our most popular trips for the past couple of years, that being our Glacier National Park Express. Now this trip is very popular as it visits our most popular seasonal national park, that being Glacier National Park. Now, Glacier Park season is very limited. It's only from mid-June to mid-September, and the reason being is, yes, it is in northern Montana, so yes, it does snow about 9 months of the year up there, so this package is very, very limited because it's always so popular. Now, so this one, we start off with 2 nights in Chicago. We then do 3 nights in Glacier Park. We also get 2 nights in Seattle. And it's a night on the train in between each one of them. It's a 10-day, 9-night package. Now, while we're in Chicago, we get the Sightseeing Architecture Cruise, which is the boat ride that will bring you down the river in Chicago. And it highlights a lot of the famous buildings and skyscrapers that Chicago is known for. In fact, Chicago is the birthplace of the modern skyscraper, and this tour highlights a lot of those famous buildings, such as the Willis Tower, formerly known as the Sears Tower, the Marina Towers, the WGN building, and the Chicago Tribune building. For our 3 nights in Glacier Park, we will do the 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, and that's the oldest and most historic of the Glacier Park Railroad hotels. And while we're there, we get 2 tours included. We first get the 2 Medicine Valley Boat Cruise, but then we get the Big Sky Circle Tour. Now, the Big Sky Circle Tour is a full-day tour of Glacier National Park. It definitely is the most comprehensive tour that Glacier Park has to offer. It's a full-day tour that utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is definitely the most key main highway that runs right through the middle of Glacier National Park. And lastly, while we're in Seattle, we get admission to the Space Needle, as well as the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum. All in all, 7 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train, and yes, those 2 nights on the train, once again, coach seating. You can upgrade those, though, for you. You'll get your meals included. You'll get tons of really great things. You'll get your meals included, get sightseeing, you get your shower access, and you get a private room with beds, which is really fantastic as well. Now, I'm very excited about sharing this package with all of you, my friends, because I got to do a package like this last year, and it was one of the best vacations I have ever taken. That's right. If you're looking to go up to the Canadian Rockies, say no more. We can get you there. This is by far one of our most popular packages for Canada. This is our Canadian Rockies Discovery, eastbound with Seattle. So this trip starts off with 1 night in Seattle, right where we want to be, right in downtown. And while we're in Seattle, we will have a couple different things included. First and foremost, we will get admission to the Space Needle. We'll get admission to the Chihuly Garden Glass Museum as well. From there, we will then hop aboard the Cascades, which is Amtrak's most scenic regional train, which we will take from Seattle up to Vancouver, where we arrive later that day. And in Vancouver, we are going to do 3 nights in a downtown Vancouver hotel. And while we're in Vancouver, we get a couple different things included. First off, we get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour included, which will take us around Vancouver on a big loop, and we can get off and on as we please at all the different sites and attractions. Definitely recommend taking time and visiting Stanley Park, which is one of the biggest city parks in the world. In fact, it's double the size of Central Park in New York City. It's really amazing. As long with all of this too, we get the Vancouver Lookout, which is the observation level atop Harbor Center Tower in Vancouver, which is the tallest building in the city of Vancouver. You'll get some really beautiful views of the city, but you'll also get some really amazing views of the Vancouver Harbor, as well as the surrounding forests and mountains. And to top it all off, my favorite part is we get a full day guided tour out to Victoria, where we'll get to experience the Bouchard Gardens, which are really the most scenic part of Victoria, the capital city of British Columbia. It's really amazing. So you'll be able to get the experience of this firsthand. And then, so once our fun in Vancouver and Victoria are all said and done, we are then going to hop aboard Via Rail's Canadian train. Now, the Via Rail Canadian train, we'll do it as an overnight train from Vancouver to Jasper. And we'll arrive into Jasper and do 2 nights in a essentially located lodge right in the heart of Jasper. Now, I do want to make note that the train ride from Vancouver to Jasper, I did it myself back in the fall time, and it was absolutely amazing. From that train, first off, the scenery is unbelievable, especially when you cross into Alberta. And just as an example of what I saw from the train, put it this way. I saw a wild wolf from the train, a living wild wolf, which was really neat. I saw a geyser erupt, but the best part was I saw Pyramid Falls. Now, Pyramid Falls is really amazing as it can only be seen from a train. It can't be seen from driving. It can't be seen from taking a flight. It can't be seen from even hiking through the woods. It can only be seen from on board the train. And what it is, Pyramid Falls, it starts up at the top as just one singular waterfall. And it goes down and it ends up sprawling out into several different smaller waterfalls that it ends up truly looking like a big pyramid made out of waterfalls, which is really amazing. And think about it, it can only be seen from the train. So consider that. So after the train ride, we get into Jasper and we do 2 nights in a centrally located hotel in the heart of Jasper. And while we're in Jasper, we get a couple different things included. We get a full day sightseeing tour of Jasper National Park. And along with this too, we get the Icefields Parkway excursion, which will take you out into the Columbia Icefields. And you actually get to do a sightseeing tour of the Columbia Icefields and get to actually go on board one of those big ice exploring vehicles, which is really amazing, as it'll actually bring you out onto the glacier, and you'll actually get an opportunity to walk and step foot onto the glacier, which is really amazing. From Jasper, we'll then go down to Banff, and we arrive in Banff. We do 2 nights in a centrally located lodge right in the heart of Banff. And while we're in Banff, we have a couple different things included there, with the highlight being the Mountains, Lakes, and Waterfalls tour. Now, the Mountains, Lakes, and Waterfalls tour is a full-day tour that highlights a lot of the famous, mountains, lakes, and waterfalls of the region. But I love it, though, because the main highlight for me was seeing Lake Louise, which I truly feel is one of the most beautiful areas in all of North America. Once our fun in Banff is all said and done, we will then hop aboard a transfer which will bring you down to Calgary, and the tour wraps up with 1 night in a downtown Calgary hotel. All in all, 11-night. It's an 11-day, 10-night package. We get admission to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden Glass Museum while we're in Seattle. In Vancouver, we get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, as well as admission tickets to the Vancouver Lookout, as well as we also get the day tour out to Victoria that includes the Bouchard Gardens tour. While we're in Jasper, we get the sightseeing tour of Jasper National Park, along with the Columbia Icefields tour. And lastly, we get the Mountains, Lakes, and Waterfalls tour for when we're in Banff. All in all, 9 nights hotel, 1 night on board the train. And yes, that 1 night is in coach accommodations. And yes, it is on Via Rail. Much like Amtrak, we can absolutely upgrade that to the sleepers, where we'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and our meals on the train will be included. So keep that in mind. Now let's visit another great package that's our most popular for the East Coast. That's right, 2 of the southern most charming southern cities out there. That's right, we got Charleston and Savannah. This trip does 3 nights in the heart of Charleston, right in the historic district of the city. And while we're in Charleston, we'll have a couple different things included. First off, we get a city tour included, as well as the tour of the Magnolia Plantation, which is one of those big antebellum houses. And in Savannah, we get a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour, as well as a harbor cruise of Savannah. It's 5 nights hotel, 1-way on board Amtrak, and the best part about this is that there's no overnights on the train when doing this package. Now keep in mind, everyone, Amtrak's luggage policy is one of the best in the travel industry. Take what you know about the airlines and honestly picture the exact opposite, because the luggage policy on Amtrak is phenomenal. Each passenger is allowed 2 pieces of carry-on luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag. So 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as a personal item. So figure along the lines of a backpack, briefcase, pocketbook, purse, laptop bag. This is standard onboard Amtrak. Take what you know about the airlines. You sometimes have to pay for that first check luggage. No. With Amtrak, this is standard. And I know I've been bringing up a lot about sleeping accommodations and upgrades and coach, but what exactly does this all mean? So let's hop right into that. The first thing I want to go over is coach accommodations, which, as you can see, is a pretty standard seat on board the train. But take what you know about airplane seating and picture the exact opposite, because the coach seating on Amtrak is actually comfortable. The seats themselves are typically double the size of your standard airplane seat. They recline at a 45-degree angle, and they also have a leg rest as well. And in fact, the leg room is uncomparable. I can tell you, last year I did a journey with one of my colleagues who's 6'6". He could fully extend his legs out and still have room to spare. Good luck finding that on the airline, because that you're going to be paying quite the premium. This is standard onboard Amtrak, which is really fantastic as well. But now you might say, this looks great, Nick, but I want to, what, is my meals included? No, unfortunately, your meals aren't included. Neither is shower access. If you're doing night or more on board the train, you're probably going to want to eat. You're probably going to want to take a shower. So where do we go from there? We upgrade to the roomettes. The roomettes are the most popular type of sleeping accommodation on board the train. So during the day, it's two big seats that face each other with a big picture window in between and a fold-out table. At night, the two seats convert to a lower bed, and right above where you see her head is, the top bed pulls down. Now, I do want to make note that meals on the train are included with the roomettes. However, the bathrooms are located down the hall, and the bathrooms are private but shared. So yes, you will be sharing them with the rest of the people that have roomette accommodations in the same car, but they're private. Once you're in there, you're in there. There's a lock on the door. It's not like a college dormitory where people are going to come in and out. And the neat thing is, it's a full-size bathroom with a full-size shower. And I can tell you, taking a shower on board the train is quite the experience in itself. In fact, there's nothing better than taking a shower at 80 miles per hour. Now, you might say, Nick, this sounds great, but is there any way that I can get my own bathroom in room? Yes, we can. In fact, we can upgrade you to the bedrooms. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes, and it's a bit of a different setup. So during the day, it's more of a sofa-style seating where that gentleman is sitting, where there's an extra captain's chair as well where the lady is sitting. At night, that sofa-style seating converts to the lower bed, and right above where his head is, it pulls down to the top bed. Now, I do want to make note, if you look at the little diagram on the right-hand side, you see like a little closet-looking thing. That is a private toilet, sink, and shower in use for your use alone when you have the bedroom accommodations. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, dining. I know throughout the presentation I've been mentioning about, getting meals included when you get to sleep in a car. But what exactly does this all mean? Well, once again, we're going to pick on the airlines. Take what you know about dining on board an airplane and picture the exact opposite, because the food on Amtrak is actually good. And you would be amazed at the quality of meals that are on board the train. So take, for instance, for breakfast, there's pancakes or waffles, bacon and eggs, omelets. For lunch, there's juicy cheeseburgers, grilled chicken salads, pasta dishes. For dinner, there's fish, there's chicken. Then there's Amtrak's main dish, which you can see right on your screen, the Amtrak signature steak, which I can tell you I had firsthand 2 nights in a row and absolutely loved it, and I know you all will too. And the whole experience about dining on board the train is quite lovely. As soon as you board the train, the dining car attendant will come by, set up reservation times that you want to eat your meals. When it's time to eat, you head down to the dining car, take a seat in one of these big comfortable booths with a white linen tablecloth layout. You get to order off a menu, and you get to order from a server like you would at a restaurant. So really, if you think about it, Amtrak isn't just transportation, but it's really a hotel on wheels, a restaurant on wheels, and sightseeing on wheels, all rolled up into one amazing experience. And we barely scratched the surface of what we have to offer to all of you. If you pay a visit to our website at amtrakvacations.com, there's a couple different ways to find the perfect package that you're looking for. You could go hover over where that red arrow is pointing, and go look by every destination through the Destinations tab. That's actually really neat, as you can go through every single destination. Or you could search by right in the middle by destination, by specific train routes, by some of the top stations, as well as by your local area, some hot packages coming out of your local region. Another great area is if you hover over on the right side over that trip planning section where that red arrow is pointing. That is going to give you some really amazing information to know before you travel. It'll answer questions about the sleeping accommodations, luggage, meals, passport, what to expect before you travel. A lot of great information on there. But my favorite part that's on there is this: the 360-degree views on board the train. This little nifty tool on here, you can navigate through and see literally every type of car, room on board the train, and see gets 360-degree views, which is really fantastic, as you can really put yourself into perspective of seeing what it's like on board Amtrak. Now, how do you book? You can give us a ring by calling 1-800-268-7252, and one of our amazing reservationists will be more than happy to help sort this out for you and get this booked. We have a really great team of experts over here. You could book through the website, so what I always recommend, give a ring or even pay a visit to your local travel agent. I go through my local travel agent for all my travels. It's definitely the best way to arrange the perfect trip for you. They're one of the best resources out there. I love going through my local travel agent. They're one of the best resources, and they really always have my best interests, and I know yours will too, so keep that in mind. And we offer some really great everyday discounts as well. If you're traveling with children ages 2 to 12, the kids get a 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. If they're a senior traveler age 65 and over, they get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. Or if you're military, active duty military, your spouse, and your dependents get a 10% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package, just as a thank you for your service. And for attending, everyone, here is an exclusive attendee discount. If you book between now and May 30th, if you upgrade to the sleeping accommodations, you can save yourselves $100 per couple or $50 off. Or $50 per person or $100 off per couple. So keep this in mind. This can be used for any package that you upgrade from coach to Roomette or the bedroom. And I'll leave it up here for just a moment so you can take a look at that and make sure to jot that down. As well as we offer a really great early booking discount as well. If you book by May 31st, by the end of this month, you can save yourselves $150 per couple or $75 per person on select 2018 vacation packages, independent rail journey vacation packages. And keep in mind too, don't forget to download the handout right over there. Where that top arrow is pointing, you definitely want to make sure you grab all that information. And as well as keep those questions coming. I've seen a ton of great questions coming through, so definitely feel free to fire those away, and I'll be more than happy to answer those. But first, we're going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that we typically see. So first off, could you choose to stay longer in one area before going on to another? Yes. Once again, all of our trips are completely customizable, where if you want to start in one destination, end in another, if you want to add nights, remove nights, add a destination, remove a destination, you can realistically customize our trips any way possible. What activities are included in these trips? We offer from sightseeing city tours to hop-on, hop-off tours to theme park tickets, attraction tickets, museum tickets, to even Broadway shows in New York City. What is included in the accommodations? Once again, you're all going to be experts on the Amtrak sleeping accommodations once this is over, but essentially, you get your meals included, you get shower access, and you get a private room with beds. Are there baggage requirements? Once again, each passenger is allowed 2 pieces of check-in luggage up to 50 pounds each bag, 2 pieces of carry-on luggage up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as a personal item. How do I customize the route? By all means, let us know or let your travel agent know. We'll be more than happy to get that all taken care of for you to get together your perfect rail vacation. And lastly, sightseeing on the train. Yes, there is an observation car on each train. Especially on the long distance routes. That's really amazing. It really is your front row seat seeing the amazing scenery that Amtrak has to offer. It's really amazing. It's a glass dome top, floor to ceiling windows, and the seats actually face outwards towards the United States. And we've reached the end now. Before I answer, I see there's tons and tons and tons and tons of questions coming through. So I'm going to get to those in just a moment. But before I do so, I want to make sure I name our winner of a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. And today's lucky winner of the Amtrak Vacations $100 gift card is Gary Crandall. Gary, great job. We hope to see you use that wisely with Amtrak Vacations. And for all of you, definitely keep those questions coming because I'm going to ask those questions away. So I'm going to answer them. Let me see. Let me scroll to the top. Craig, is there special pricing for children? Other discounts available? Yes, so children get off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. Children get a 50% discount off the rail portion of the package. Robert, Chief doesn't stop at Williams now. What is the schedule for that? So yes, it actually stops in Flagstaff. So for the Southwest Chief, it does stop in Flagstaff, and they do provide a shuttle transportation to the Grand Canyon Railway. It's only about a 20-minute shuttle. It gets into Flagstaff roughly about 9:30 p.m. John, what is the difference between a roomette and a bedroom? The main difference is the bedroom is a little bit bigger than the roomette. The bedroom is a little bit bigger than the roomette, and it has a private toilet, sink, and shower in room. That's the big difference. Craig, are the tours guided? Do we have a contact who is on the train for questions? So, unfortunately, the sightseeing portions of the packages, a lot of them are guided sightseeing city tours, but the actual tours themselves aren't escorted tour groups. So it's not like, you go on your big guided sightseeing tours. It's nothing like that. It's independent travel. Now, on the train, you have your point of contact. You wouldn't necessarily have a point of contact, but you do have a wonderful Amtrak team that will be there to help you out with anything you might need while you're on board the train with the train experience, especially your car attendant. They are amazing. My last year when I did the Southwest Chief, my car attendant was there literally from the very beginning to the second I stepped foot off of the train. Gary's asking, give me a second, Gary. Hop on, hop off buses that loop around the city. Yes, they're usually double-decker style buses, or they're trolleys that will take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions. It's really neat because they're usually narrated too, so you can learn a little bit about what you're passing. Gary's asking, what is the cost impact per night to upgrade to sleeper with meals? It all depends. It's all based upon availability more than anything. I always recommend with Amtrak, if you book the further out in advance you book, the chances are the lower cost you will get. This is all based upon availability. John, how will you know if the train's a viewliner or a superliner? So that's a great question, John. The main difference, there's a couple differentials. So first off, the big differential is the superliner trains are the double deckers, where the viewliner trains are single level trains. The best way to know which one you're going to be getting is trains west of Chicago, Chicago West, the long distance western trains. Those are all superliners, where more of the east of Chicago are all viewliner trains. So more East Coast based. Gary, tips included or extra? Tipping is not included in the packages. You would have to cover your own gratuities. I always recommend $5 per person per day for your car attendant. I recommend your traditional tipping for the dining car attendant, so say 18% for breakfast, lunch, and 20% for dinner. As well as if you utilize any of the portage service or red cap service at the stations, definitely recommend paying about $5 per person per service. Gary, there's unfortunately no discounts. There's the senior, the AAA, or no AAA, my apologies, the senior, the children, and the active duty military. Let's see, we got Craig, let's see. Craig, are there stops at stations that allow guests to get off and walk around? Not really. Most of the stations are generally like 5 to 15-minute stops, so people can get on and off. Usually, they will on the long distance routes out west. There's usually one stop that is like an extra longer stop. Like I can tell you, for example, when I did the Southwest Chief last year, it was Albuquerque was the longest stop. It actually stopped in Albuquerque for about an hour and a half, and I actually got the opportunity to step off the train, go walk around. I actually stretched my legs and walked around like 2 city blocks. So I got to experience that. But typically, no, there's not enough time to get off and really walk around. And they'll make the announcement overhead as well to let you know how long of a stop it's going to be. Maryland, we are in northern Wisconsin. Our closest depot is Red Wing, Minnesota. Can we get on there for the Northern Rail package? Yes, most definitely. If you don't want to go to Chicago, if you want to say start it in Red Wing, we don't have to backtrack all the Chicago. No, you can absolutely do that. Start in Red Wing, and we can start in Red Wing if you wanted. Most definitely, Maryland. Barbara, is there a cost for a sleeping car by person? Or in other words, does the person pay double? Yes, so the cost is for the room itself. So it's like if you rent a hotel. Say if you were a single person and rented a hotel room, you're still paying for the cost of the room. It's not, it's not like they'll pair you up with a person or anything like that. You're still paying for the total cost of the room. Maryland, we are seniors, and I am out of the military in 1972. Will we be eligible for the military discount? No, unfortunately, it's for active duty military, but you are eligible for the senior discount if you are over the age of 65, which is, you can definitely feel free to utilize that. Any more questions? It looks like I might be out of questions for today. Any more? There we go. The green routes on the map are throughway. That's a great question, John. John's asking, what are the green routes on the map that's on our website or in the brochure? Those are throughway service buses. So those are the motor coaches that Amtrak operates. You're welcome. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. It looks like that we're out of questions. So I want to just take the opportunity to thank you all for joining me and learning a little bit about what we got going on with Amtrak Vacations. And I just wanted to thank you. If anyone has any questions at all, please call that number on your screen. Or even better, give a call or pay a visit to your local travel agent. They are definitely the some of the most valuable resources that you can have. So definitely recommend that. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all for joining me this afternoon. We hope to see you again. And in the meantime, take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everybody.